Hello, podcast fans. James S. Cassidy here with another episode of the N blog, or the Naruto blog, as I like to call it. Now, people know that I am a Naruto fan first, before I'm a Narusaku fan. What does that mean? That means I judge the manga based on what it is before I let my bias take over, or if I let my fantasies take over, or something like that. So I'm always looking at the manga story first, as it plays out, before I lay my own opinion of my favorite fan base in there. With that being said, I'm here to answer another question that I know a lot of people have, and I know some people want my opinion of, and that is Hinata's character good or bad? Now, hold on, Naruhina fans. I know you're just sitting there waiting to post comments down in the YouTube channel, but before you do that, before you chop off my head or try to insult me in some asinine way, yes, that is a word, look it up, I'm going to tell you two things. One, I will provide evidence to back myself up. Two, this is just my opinion. You are free to have a different opinion. You are free to think completely differently and disagree with me all you want. However, this still is my opinion, and you cannot stop me from having an opinion. That's what's great about living in America, or living in a free world, as I like to call it. You know, really, because this whole world could be free if we wanted to be, was that we could just have our own freedom of opinions, freedom of what we think of something, yes or no. But I digress. Is Hinata's character good or bad? And the answer, I believe, is yes and no. It's both good and bad. She has her good moments and she has her bad moments, but I digress. For the most part, she's bad. And the reason why I say this is because there's not much going for her. I will explain. Take Hinata's character from the beginning. She was seen as this shy girl in the village. What do we know most about her? Well, she loves Naruto. Okay, anything else? Okay, her cousin is Neji. Anything else? Okay, she was set in line to be the next head of her family, so that means she's going to lead the clan, so she's part of royalty. Anything else? After that, nothing, really. I mean, we get this sort of backstory about Neji and Hinata, and how Neji's father chose to kill himself, or sacrifice himself, I guess, and blah, 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 but we're not looking at Neji here, we're looking at Hinata. Anyway, other than what a lot of people keep saying is Hinata's love for Naruto, what else is special about her? What else really pops her out? Again, other than her love for Naruto, what really makes her stand out? I can't think of anything. I mean, we had the story before in part 1 where you had the problems between her and Neji, which is great. I loved the story arc. It was fascinating. And then you have Naruto who stood up for Hinata, which is, again, great. It was a great story. But, again, it's one part that happened in part 1, and then it's never talked about ever again. Nothing ever like this ever comes up ever again. There's no family history with Hinata. There's problems that she has with her father, but it's never resolved, really. It kind of just gets resolved in the background, and all of a sudden her father's like, oh, wow, I see you're really strong. Yeah, it doesn't really have that much involvement as, say, Naruto's journey through this manga. Now, a lot of people are going to argue with me about this, especially the Narusaku fans are going to say, well, she's a side character. What does that mean? That means she's not supposed to get the attention. She is a side character. She is something that happens to the side. Yeah, she does kind of have her own story, but it's kind of an off-panel kind of thing, you know? Where her story arc is kind of either, if it doesn't involve Naruto himself, why bother talking about it? However, this is a problem with her character, I feel. Later on in the manga, do we ever go back to the story of her being a leader of her clan? Do we ever get back into the story of her becoming stronger and becoming that leader, or her seeing ambitions of becoming that leader of her clan? Do we ever see people, do we ever see her go through trials to try to become the leader of the clan or show off becoming the leader of the clan. No, we don't. We don't really get much story other than that Hinata likes Naruto. Hinata loves Naruto. She wants to be with Naruto. She wants to hold his hand. She wants to walk with him. She wants to kiss him. She wants to do this with him. She wants to do that with him. Yeah, okay. I get it, Hinata. You love Naruto, but what else is special about you? Other than your boobs, which are ginormous. Okay, not as big as Tsunade's, but still, they're ginormous. Which, you know, a lot of the male people out there, male fandoms, will say is a huge asset about her, but I digress. Physical appearances really don't add much to character. She is well drawn, though. I will give her that one. She is a well drawn character, and I mean artistically. She's appealing to the eye. She's smooth, as in line quality. Her line quality and her appearance is smooth, not her figure. Well, I mean, I guess I could be your figure, but I digress. It's just she's a well-drawn character. The problem with her is, and this is a biggie, she has a problem with her personality. There's not really much fleshed out with her personality. It kind of remains the same for a good 400 chapters. It remains the same for a long time throughout the entire manga, and very rarely do we see spurts of her jumping into the fray. You know, we got the Hinata confession where she actually gets confidence and she jumps into a fray, and that's great. You know, is she going to be more confident from now on? No, she isn't. She's going to go back to her original ways of being shy and not confident enough in her own abilities and not trying to fix this problem. She remains pretty much the same. The only real jump in character we got was from 615 and onward. But this does not really warrant her enough for me to say that she's a good character, because this is pretty late in the game that she's getting this development. It's pretty late to get all this now when Kishimoto could have been doing this in the past chapters or something like that. But when we look at Hinata, when we look at her character, when we look at her story, there's not much to tell, is there? I mean, what can you really say about her? Really? I mean, story-wise throughout this manga, what is her plot? Her just trying to get with Naruto? I mean, is that it? Is that all she's reduced to, is pairing fodder? Is that it? Really? That's her big importance to this manga? That seems rather dull, doesn't it? You know, I wanted to like Hinata. I really did. I wanted to like her. Even though I like Sakura better, I wanted to like Hinata, and I wanted her to be stronger as a character. I wanted her to be stronger power-wise. I wanted her to be stronger confidence-wise. I wanted her to be stronger in all aspects. Hell, she doesn't have to give up her love for Naruto, but perhaps maybe she should stop thinking about herself and start thinking more about Naruto's needs and what he needs. But unfortunately, she doesn't. 9 times out of 10, she mostly does things because she wants to do it, not because she thinks it will benefit Naruto. And I know you Naruhina fans are going to be like, oh, whoa, that's not true. That's not true. You're lying. You're just a biased fan. You're just a biased fan. Okay, tell me something that she has done for the benefit of Naruto. I'll wait. Come up with anything yet? Oh, okay, so you're gonna bring up the confession. Okay. Okay. Let's rewind back. Let me break this down again better for you, because I really want to discuss this. I mean, this is really important. Let me break this down. Okay, so we got part 1. She shows up, she's shy. Okay. She faces off against Neji in the exams. Okay. She's considered weak. She's considered she's considered weak. She's considered unconfident. She's considered terrible by Neji. Neji looks down upon her, even though he's the reject. He thinks like, oh, Hinata gets a free pass because she's royalty, even though Neji is like 10 times better in every way than her, which actually is true. I hate to say it, but it is. He is 10 times better than her in every single way. But I digress again. I say that word a lot, don't I? I digress. Anyway. He is better than her, in so many ways. But Naruto comes in at this point and says, being a reject does not mean that you can't be something great. Just because you're labeled as a reject, just because people seem you're weak, doesn't mean you really are. It just means you have to prove it to them that you are strong, that you are self-reliant. And here comes the problem. Naruto does this. Hinata doesn't do this. She doesn't jump in there to try to prove to Neji that she's more than Misuya. She ends up losing the battle anyway. She tries, but, she tries to prove it. I'll give her that. She tries to prove it, but she fails at it, which Naruto ended up having to go in and prove it for her, which makes her fall in love with him even more. Okay. We keep going. There's nothing really involving Hinata after that point, is there? There's no really story arcs. There's no really interesting stories about her. I mean, we do get the anime, which has these fillers, but again, these are fillers, not the manga. I'm only going by the manga. She has nothing story-wise going for her. Nothing. She comes see Naruto at the hospital, she faints. She sees him again, she faints. She sees him again, she faints. So it's kind of, that's basically all she's reduced down to, is fainting. 2-year time skip. We get to the point where Hinata is grown up, and has she changed? Nope, she still faints. At least in the earlier chapters. She's still kind of that shy, won't talk to Naruto, won't do anything. Even when Naruto actually sees her and comes up to her and goes like, "Hi, Hinata, what's up?" She just faints to the floor. And he thinks this is weird. I don't blame him. But then again, Naruto is not exactly a rocket scientist, but then again, that's the goofy hero for you. So, she starts to slowly get confidence, I guess. I mean, we get to her confession, where she jumps in front of pain, she takes a bullet, and she confesses her love, basically. Or, not or she jumps in, confesses her love, and then takes the bullet, and, Naruto goes almost 9 tails, killing her, himself, and every single person in the whole entire vicinity. Hey, I'm just saying, if it wasn't for Hinata would have been screwed. If it wasn't for Sakura, who was there, she would have been screwed. So, yeah. Now, Hinata is selfish. Now, whoa. Hold on, Naruhito fans. I know what you're going to say. She is not selfish. That's just your perception of biasness saying that she is selfish. No, because Hinata said that herself. If you read the chapter again about her confession, if you read that chapter again, she says, and I quote, "I am just being selfish." She says that she says that about herself, that she is selfish. So what are you going to do then? You can look it up if you want to. I would provide the panels, but I don't want this video taken down for obvious reasons, because, well, it wasn't a pretty sight last time, but still. Look at the chapter again. Look at Manga Stream. Look at Manga Panda. She says it. She is selfish. She says this herself. We, the NS fanbase, did not come up with that. She said this herself. She calls herself selfish. Now, what does that say about her? At least she's a little bit more understanding. And she is selfish. She really is. She doesn't really care about anything else than Naruto. I mean, really, what else has she thought about? Has she thought about getting stronger than Neji? Not really. Has she thought about becoming the leader of her clan? Not really. Has she thought about becoming stronger personality-wise for herself? Not really. She hasn't really thought about anybody but Naruto. She hasn't thought about anything else but Naruto. It's Naruto on the brain. That's all she thinks about. Even to this day in the chapter, that's all she thinks about is Naruto. And this is a bad point for her character. She's nothing but pairing fodder. She's been reduced to nothing but pairing fodder, and this is really sad. And I know some Naruhito fans are going to get on my back and jump on and tell me this is not true, but really, can you name me one chapter with Hinata in it that it did not involve Naruto in any way. That did not involve her thinking about him in any way. That did not involve her talking about him in some way or doing something with him in some way. Really, what is there any story where Naruto is not even on her mind? There is none. There is absolutely none. She thinks about Naruto constantly. She is a satellite character to Naruto. This is how Kishi wrote her. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, Hinata was the first character Kishimoto wrote. Yes and no. The original Hinata character didn't have any significance whatsoever. You should be lucky that she's even got this much attention in the first place, because originally she was just some random village girl that had a crush on Naruto. That was her basic character development. There was nothing beyond that. She was not going to be a side character whatsoever. She's going to be a side plot. At best. Just a side thing that just comes out of nowhere for some odd reason. What significance has it plays? I don't know. Now, here's an interesting thought. People think that Sasuke was the first character created. No. Actually, Sasuke was one of the later characters created because it was a choice by the editor. You need to put a rival in. But again, I'm talking about Hinata. I'm going off topic on this one. Hinata is just not a character that is well developed. She is constantly being held back. She is constantly being forced into being pairing fodder. She is constantly has Naruto on the brain. 573. I want to hold Naruto's hand. Her confession. I want to confess to Naruto. Really, what point of the confession did she do that she could have done that didn't involve Naruto in any way? She could, or her love for Naruto in any way. She could have pulled out the spikes. She could have create a distraction, telling Naruto to help. She could bring in other forces to help distract pain long enough for Naruto to get up. She could have been tons more helpful. And you know this because in the anime they do this. In the anime they add the extra scenes of her pulling out a spike or two. They have her doing these extra little things. It doesn't happen in the manga. She goes in, confesses, gets knocked out. That's basically it. That was the whole confession. Doesn't sound too good, really. It really doesn't, if you put it that way. It doesn't sound like a good thing. Now, is her character good or bad? The answer is not really. She's not really a good character because she has no structure. She has a forced plot set in motion that has so much potential to have this great story added to her. Her journeys of becoming a leader of the Hyuga clan that she's meant to be. This side story with her and her father could have been expanded upon or made more in depth. Instead, we just get the father like, oh, I already see her as being struck. Done. Again, she's a side character, but again, I've seen side characters get this kind of development. As quick as it can be, they do sometimes get these side developments that actually round out the character even more. Her main purpose is to be pairing fodder. That's it. I am saying this God honest truth. She is nothing but pairing fodder. She is drawn really well. I like her character design. Her personality could use some work, and her story arc is terrible. So, is she a bad character? She has potential, but she ends up falling short. That's my final verdict on Hinata. That is how I judge her equally. I know there are some good parts about her. Yeah, she has risked her life for Naruto. So has other people, but they've done it for different reasons other than Hinata. Hinata basically did it for selfish reasons. Other people sacrificed for Naruto because they wanted him to be happy, or they wanted him to succeed, or they wanted him to achieve something greater. Not Hinata. She was willing to sacrifice everything just for the sake of her being with Naruto, just so he could notice her. That's the truth. She says it herself. She says it herself that she is selfish. Look again at the confession. Again, I emphasize this. She says it herself. I wish Hinata had a better story arc. I wish Hinata got the justice that she deserves. I wish that I could like her. I even one time had hope for her when Sakura hugged Naruto and she had this like smile on her face, like she was content with it. She, like, at that point in time, I thought to myself, wow, did Hinata finally admit that maybe Naruto doesn't want her and wants Sakura? Well, she can always love him, but maybe she'll back off away from him. Maybe she'll let him choose who he wants to be with. And then she disappointed me with the whole 573 where I'm going to walk with him, I'm going to hold his hand and walk with him. And then you got 615 coming around where she's like, oh Naruto, you got to be strong, you got to be brave. I know Neji died. I know it's so heartbreaking for you, but you got to move on. And I was like, amazing. She finally got the development that she deserves. She can move on without Naruto now. She's strong enough to survive on her own, regardless if Naruto is with her or not. Then she blows it by commenting on how big and strong Naruto's hand is, and I was just face-palming. I was like, way to ruin your own development by taking 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. We come together because opposites attract. Okay, again, another tangent, but still. It's just, it's sad. I'm sad for this character. I wanted her to be something more. I'm not just some blind NS fan that thinks Hinata's bad and she's always been bad. No, she's had her moments. But they were not enough, and she has been reduced to nothing but pairing fodder. That's what her story is. You have these long moments in the manga where she doesn't show up at all. In fact, there was one part in the manga, I cannot remember which chapter, so if you are an NS fan or manga fan, please help me out with this one. I know there's a part where Hinata says something about Naruto where she's worried about him, where she's like, she doesn't think Naruto could do it. But Sakura actually tells her, you don't have faith in Naruto. I know that he can win no matter what. You have to have more faith in Naruto. And I was like, boom, right there. This is where you know the difference between Hinata and Sakura. Sakura has faith in Naruto. Sakura has faith that Naruto is the one man that could do it if he puts his heart to it. Hinata? No. All she ever believed in was his Nindo because she took it into herself. She's like, oh, Nindo has this of never giving up. I'm never going to give up. And that's basically what it is. All she basically did was reflect Naruto and reflect and satellite him and copy him and doing all this other stuff around him, but never really does anything for herself. Never really does anything to strengthen her character, to strengthen her story, strengthen who she is as a person. She just continues to be the pairing fodder that she is today. And I'm really sad for that. I really am. Yeah, we got development for her lately, where she finally did the 64 palms while thinking of Naruto and Neji, but as much as I would like to give it to her, it's too late. The manga is almost done, and you're just now getting the development that you should be getting back then. I can't. This is why I can't see Narahina becoming canon, because there's just nothing. There's no floor to stand on. There's nothing for Narahina to stand on to give it that support. To support itself into becoming canon. There's just not enough interaction, not enough knowledge of each other's character. And think about this for a second. Let me put it this way. If Hinata was not selfish, let me ask you this. If Hinata was not selfish, don't you think that she could have been the kind of person that was like, I love Naruto with all my heart, but if he doesn't love me, that's okay. I want him to be happy. Sakura did it. Sakura's confession, that's what she did. She wanted him to be happy, regardless of what she wanted. Regardless of the promise of the lifetime, regardless of what Naruto was doing, regardless of anything, she wanted Naruto to live a normal, happy life. She didn't want her burdens becoming his burdens. Can Hinata say the same thing? No. She's never really put Naruto before herself, and that's really bad. It is really, really bad. And I'm really, really sorry to say it, but she's not a good character because of it. She's well drawn, but she's selfish, self-centered, and a satellite character that has been reduced to nothing but a pairing fodder. That's all I could say about her. I'm being totally honest with you. I'm being straightforward with it. I'm using the same methods I used to judge Sakura with it. And if you want me to judge Sakura, I think I already judged Sakura, so I don't really need to do that anymore. But I've already judged her. But again, it's just there's not enough pro to outweigh the cons that is Hinata. She needs a lot of work to really become a well-rounded character because she still has issues. She still is not getting the screen time that she really needs to get that development. And I'm really, really sad for it. I used to be a Narahina fan in the beginning, but then it took an arrow to the knee. Well, no, I used to be a Narahina fan, but when I saw how little involvement that she had throughout the story, how insignificant she really has become throughout the whole entire manga, I don't see it. I decided to become a Narasako fan because I saw how these two grew up together. They went through everything together. They suffered together. They were happy together. When has there ever been a moment of relaxing with Naruto and Hinata? When was the one moment where Naruto was sitting at a ramen shop and Hinata's sitting right next to him? Never happened. Was there any moments where Naruto was just walking down the street and he sees Hinata and it's like, "Hey Hinata, how's it going? You having a good day?" "Yeah, I'm doing fine, Naruto. I'm just gonna deliver these flowers." "Oh, okay. Well, I'll catch you later then. Where you gonna go be tonight?" "Oh, I may go to the training ground and train him a little bit." "Oh, okay. Maybe I'll see you there when I gotta do some training." "Okay. Well, anyway, bye, Hinata." "Bye, Naruto." But you never see moments like that. You never see. It's always like, "Oh my god, I want to be with Naruto. I want to walk with him. I want to hold his hand. I want to do this. Oh my god, I want to be with him so much. Oh, I love him. I love him. I love it." There is nothing beyond that for her. Nothing. And I know Narahina fans are going to be mad at me for this. I know I'm going to get comments. I know you're just going to, all you Narahina fans are just going to be like, "You don't know what you're talking about." I do know what I'm talking about because I've seen characters like her get more development than her. I've seen characters like her, these moe shy characters, that just get more well-rounded story arcs and a better character development. I really wish I could say the same for Hinata, but it's just not true. It's just not true whatsoever. Well, I think I've talked your ear enough. So, again, is Hinata a good or bad character? She's neither. She just doesn't have the development enough to be a bad character, but she doesn't have the development enough to be a good character either. So she's stuck being a one-time character. She's stuck being a broken record character, as I call it, where all it is every time she's on screen, it's the same thing over again. And it's just it's not good. It's not a good character development. You can get mad at me if you want to for saying this, but who you should really be mad at is Kishimoto for not giving this character due process, not giving this character judgment, this just true development that she should be getting. Even now, I mean, she doesn't have to get rid of her love for Naruto, but she at least can try to learn to put him before herself, and she hasn't done it yet. She's done nice things for him. I'm not saying that she hasn't. I'm just saying that the reason why she does those things is for her own self-satisfaction, not for his. Not for his. You're going to probably argue 615, but I digress. I digress. The whole comment with her holding his hand and how big and warm it is, that kind of ruined it. It really did. For me, at least. It ruined it. Terrible. Poor Hinata. Poor Hinata. Anyway, I'm Jim Says Cassidy, and I'll check you out on the podcast later, and perhaps maybe more some M blogs if I find some interesting topics to talk about. Or if you want to send me a topic and you want me to talk about it, just drop it into my YouTube or drop it into the H&E forums if you want me to discuss them. But until then, I'll catch you later.